Shemtov for that amazing introduction, and for bringing us all together tonight and always for this incredible event. Congratulations to the students, I think I met some of you, on your incredible accomplishment. And thank you to the President's Own, the United States Marine Band, for playing for us tonight. They're always amazing. Thank you all. Good to see you. On behalf of President Biden, my wife, Vice President Harris, First Lady, I want to wish everyone a happy Hanukkah. Now look, normally this is a time of celebration and joy. I want us to celebrate Hanukkah. And I know right now that might seem a little far-fetched to some of you. I know you're in pain. I'm in pain. I know a lot of us are feeling unmoored and afraid. We've not seen anything like this moment. And I know it's scary. Just look at the news just the past couple of days. What have we seen? We've seen the presidents of some of our most elite universities literally unable to denounce calling for the genocide of Jews as anti-Semitic. That lack of moral clarity is simply unacceptable. We've seen a restaurant owner who's a friend of mine accused of genocide simply because he's Jewish. We've all seen college students afraid to go to class. We've seen people afraid to go to markets, afraid to go to synagogues, literally being attacked on our streets. Let me be clear. When Jews are targeted because of their beliefs or identity, and when Israel is singled out because of anti-Jewish hatred, that is anti-Semitism, and it must be condemned. And condemned unequivocally and without context. I've spent the whole time since I've been the second gentleman, as Rabbi said, talking out about anti-Semitism. But since October 7th, that horrible day, I have been speaking out publicly as much as I can on what I am calling and what we know to be a crisis of anti-Semitism. But I've also been reaching out privately with many people just to check in, just to see how they're doing, how they're feeling. The common denominator of these conversations is that we feel alone, feel hated, feel we're in pain. But we also talk about how we can rededicate ourselves, how we can recommit ourselves to our pride and our love of being Jewish. And that concept of dedication, rededication, I believe, is the meaning of Hanukkah. I want you to know that President Biden, Vice President Harris, and this entire administration have your back. The administration and our community, we put the work in, so we now have the tools to meet this moment. Last December, we convened a roundtable with Jewish leaders at the White House to discuss the growing threat of anti-Semitism even a year ago. And some of you in the audience tonight were there. Soon afterwards, President Biden stood up an interagency, all-of-government task force to address this epidemic of hate. In May, I'm proud to say that the Biden-Harris administration announced the first ever national strategy to counter anti-Semitism and got to work implementing it immediately. And that is why we were ready to engage and act at this perilous and pivotal moment. We are taking action. As attacks increased on college campuses, Secretary of Education Cardona and I met with leaders of major Jewish organizations. Again, some of you are here tonight. And we can see the Department of Education is taking action to ensure that colleges protect their students. President Biden and Vice President Harris have also been working to ensure Israel has the support it needs. Thank you. Because of their leadership, more than 100 hostages, including 4 Americans, are home. We will continue to do all we can to reunite the hostages with their family members. And I know I personally know how important this issue is to President Biden, Vice President Harris. President Biden, we are so lucky to have President Biden as our president. A couple of days after the horrible attack on 10/7, he and I spoke at another roundtable with Jewish leaders. That was very difficult for me to imagine how I was going to do that so soon after October 7th. And our president in the whole room looked me in the eye and just asked, "How are you doing?" And I just said, "Not okay." He took my hand, my hands, and he said, "We're going to be okay. Let's just go out and tell the world how you feel." It was in that moment that those emotions just got me, hit me. I'm so thankful for his support each and every day. Thank you. My wife, the Vice President, she has always pushed me into this issue, had me lean into it. She said, "This moment found you, and now get to work." And I've tried to do that each and every day. So even as we face what feels like such empty darkness right now, I am hopeful. Look at the story of Hanukkah. The story of Hanukkah and the story of Jewish people has always been one of hope and resilience. In the Hanukkah story, the Jewish people were forced into hiding. No one thought they would survive or that few drops of oil they had would last. But they did survive, and the oil kept burning. During those 8 days in hiding, they recited their prayers and continued their traditions. That's why Hanukkah means dedication. It's during those dark nights that the Maccabees dedicated themselves to maintaining hope and faith in the oil, each other, and their Judaism. So in these dark times, I think of that story. But I also think of everything it took for me to be here tonight. I think of my ancestors. This past January, I visited the town in what is now Poland that my family fled to escape persecution. I even got to see the apartment where they lived and the temple where they worshiped. And I know the sacrifices they made to leave their home and come to this great country. I know that was hard. And I know that many, including some in my family, weren't able to escape. So only in America would the descendant of people who had to flee from persecution be standing here with all of you as the first ever Jewish spouse of an American president or vice president. So even though it feels like these are dark times, we will continue to live out the legacy of the generations of ancestors who came before us. We will rededicate ourselves to embracing our faith and practicing our traditions. We cannot live in fear or be afraid. We must always live openly and proudly as Jews. Happy Hanukkah.